Alrighty, folks. So what we have here today, besides chaos and a mess, is I am going to show you just a little bit of gel plating. I don't, as a rule, or I haven't, as a rule, done any of this on video or live, only because I'm not that great at it. But I really love doing it, and I've been learning more as I have been watching the artist at PM Artist Studio. There are several designers that have their own channels where they do fun things. And of course, Patricia and Mariah, they have amazing projects 4 times a week. So if you guys care to hop over, check them out, say hi, give them a like, that would be great. I would appreciate it. But what I'm going to do today is Adrian brought me some flowers from outside. Now, some of them are kind of falling apart, but I will show you the basic process of making a botanical print. I was watching Darcy, and I'll link her below, and it's just really fun to do the botanical ones. And now that we're in spring, or more than spring, I'm not exactly sure, we have lots of fun botanicals we can use. And what I also have are these little cards. I'm not sure. Let's see. They're 6 inches by, so they're, oh, wait a minute, 6 inches by 4. So they're a 6 by 4 sheet, and I'm using a 3 by 5 gel plate. So this is a really fun size to get a cool, smaller image. And what I like about it, this is one I did already, and I will agree that the botanical part of it is kind of subtle. So I will probably do other things on these. But what I love about this process with these little cards is that I can then ring bind these and make myself a cool little journal with them. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And so I'm going to show you guys how I have basically learned this process. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind is we may not always get a really super impression, and that's because it's hot here and I'm using inexpensive craft paint, which does dry quicker than your normal paints that you might buy like Golden or Liquitex. I'm just using Apple Barrel or Folk Art, something really inexpensive until I get more of the hang of this. So let me start by just putting a little bit of paint on this little plate, and I'm going to roll it out. And this is probably enough or even possibly too much. So we'll see after I roll it here a second. I need to add a little bit more to mine because I have to make sure it stays wet long enough. So these are lady slippers, and I'm going to put them on. And I'm just going to put some leaves with them just so that they'll look interesting. Here's a leaf that I've been using with a violet on it. And you can see I've been doing this because my hands are all different colors now. So just going to put that on there and squish it down, and then I'm going to lift it up, and you see on the underside, it just left an impression of that. So I'm going to lift up my Botanical, and then I'm just going to press this back down, and hopefully it'll be wet enough that I can get the impression that the Botanical's left. So let's see what happens when we lift this up. Yeah. So we get a really cool print. You can't really tell that those are lady slippers, but you do get an interesting thing with the leaves. So that was a cool one. I like that color. However, I'm going to use a little bit of red, and I have to say red has never been really a favorite color for me. Even artistically, I'm not a big fan of red, but I'm going to use it because I used it on something else, and I liked the color that I got. Now these, I don't remember what these are called. I called them bluebells, but I don't think that's what they are. They're more succulent than a bluebell, but at any rate, we'll see how they print. They are kind of past their prime. They've been in the garden a while, so we'll see what we get here. Some of the pieces on them were a little bit dried up already. So pulling this, it looks like I did get something. That's pretty cool. I did get some of the bluebell right here. These other marks could be from my fingers, I'm not sure. But kind of really got a nice impression there. And the red was, fine. Let's try it with a purple. This is called Purple Iris. And see how that looks. Let me get some of this red off here because I don't want to make brown. So let's see if we can keep the purple nice and purpley and rich and not get too much of the red in there. And I usually go over mine a couple times. I try not to be too picky because, like I said, the more I play with this, the less likely I'm going to get a print because of the paint drying too quick and the heat together sometimes. And I just put my thumb in that, so I'm wondering what kind of design that's going to give me. So I'm going to press this down, and then I'm going to lift it up. This is also watercolor paper. So when I use it, I get some designs from the paper itself that I really like, that from the grooves in the watercolor. So this is really a cool print. You get the underside, the veins of the leaves. Here's my finger, I think. So I like that one. I think that one turned out pretty nice. Now let's see what we'll use pink. And I have a rose that is dried. Where are my scissors so I can cut it off? Excuse my arm. But I've been wanting to see how these will print. They're so beautiful when they dry, aren't they? So I'd like to see. I think I left a little bit too much paint on here. I'm always concerned about whether I have too much or not enough. So let's just go with too much on this one. And I'm going to put this rose down like this. I'm not sure how it will even print, but it may not at all. So I'm going to press it down around the edge of the rose. The head is not going to be flat enough, so this is all I get. When I lift this up, though, and then I put this back down, I'm getting some of an impression. We'll see if it looks like a rose when I'm done. It's kind of interesting. You know, we get something here and something down here. So we can definitely work with that. What I think I will do, I wonder if there's a way, maybe if I take some of the center out. Oops, now I got a bunch of petals, but that's okay. So let me put, what color do I want to try? I'm going to try out, well, let's see, what color is this? We'll try a magenta, and this one is an apple barrel, so we'll try the magenta, which I have way too much of now. Yeah, I think I put a lot on here, but we'll make it work. Okay, so here is what's left of the rose. Let me put it on this side. And since my paint is a little wetter, I might be able to get a better, you know, a longer time to play with it to kind of position that. So let's see what I can get here. So as you can see, your initial impression doesn't take very long for it to work, especially if you're using a tiny plate. This is a 3x5 plate, and I like it because it allows me to have these smaller pieces. I have a big 8x10 one, and I don't really see any need to go larger. I need to smooth this out a little bit more. Let's see if I can pick up more. Like I said, the paint dries pretty quickly. Okay, so we got some of the petals and we got some of the leaves. So that's kind of cool. And when we look at these when I'm done, we'll be able to see that there's a, even though the botanicals may not be showing through quite as richly as we would want them to, you're still going to see a difference in the, in what prints. Oops. So hubby brought me a whole bag, so I'm just kind of picking some things out of here. I don't know what this red one is, or if it'll even print, but we're going to give it a go after I put paint on. Oh, he even brought me dandelions. Bless his heart. Okay, so we're gonna try, let's see, one another light color, maybe a yellow. We'll do a yellow and see what happens with that. Yellow and pink is what's going to happen because there was just too much still on my brayer, which is fine. I like the variegated colors a lot. So I'm going to put this beauty down. And I forget what these are called, but this red flower has been in our garden for many a year. So I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a vintage tree. Let's put it that way. So let's just smash it. I hate the idea of smashing these flowers, but okay. All right. And lifting these off. Now, see that some of this stuck? You can use tweezers to lift it off, which is nice because then you don't get a thumbprint in addition to. I mean, if I can get the tweezers to work, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. Okay. There we go. And then put that back down and see, smooth it out a little bit and see what we get. Now, obviously you can tell from not only my channel name, but also my desk. I do work better through chaos, so please don't be alarmed at my messy desk. It's typical for me to have a messy desk. So here's what we got out of that one. Not too bad. You can see the center of the flower. Here you can see that one little piece was cute, and here is part of a leaf. So that turned more orange. So I'm running out of teal. I may have to send the hubs to Walmart to pick up some oh, I forgot I had that other brand. I have some teal in that. I love teal and orange together. So let's see how this comes out, because it's going to have some yellow and pink in it. What do I want to use? I'm going to use this guy again. And I'm going to use some of these, just anything you want to put on that you've tried before. And we're just going to see what happens. We're trying to get different designs. So this one will squish into the teal. Now these would look really cool on some book paper, so I may try that at a later time. Oops. This picked it up for me. I'll get this little tiny piece out and hopefully have that centered enough that it'll still make the mark in the middle. So when we're making the first print, we're just getting an outline. But then when we make this, when we pick up the flowers and we see the design that they leave on the plate, then we're trying to get it to pick up a second time so that it gives you something like this. Very cool. Now, I want to try orange and pink, because that's one of my favorite combinations, orange and pink. Once I do this one, I don't know how many more I'll do, but just wanted to do a couple so you guys could see the fun things you can do with a botanical and a 3x5 plate. Fabulous. I love it. Okay, so on this one, I think I'm going to come back to these rose leaves and this rose hip. We'll put a petal or two in there and see what happens. Put one up here and we'll press this down. So the reason I'm using these 4x6 watercolor papers is that I plan to make a little botanical journal or booklet with them. It'll be ring bound. And I just thought that this would be the perfect size. So hopefully, see, hardly anything because I have it filled with leaves and petals and other fun stuff. So when you do that, you don't always get a really good outside impression. But then after you lift up your botanicals and it leaves that ghost print or print of your veins and different wrinkles and things in the dried roses, looks really cool. So hopefully that was dry enough. Now, this is an example where I probably had too much paint, but it's still a cool little print. It doesn't look too botanical-y, if that's a word. So let's try one more. And I want to try to get, don't know, my brayer is pretty much, even though I've been brayer offing it, something like that. That sounded kind of weird, didn't it? I'm going to try to get a little bit more ink off of it so that I can get a light blue and light blue. And I think I have a navy blue. Actually, this is dark ultramarine. So let me see how this will. Might be too much paint. So as I was telling you, I'm just learning how to use the gel plate. So my techniques are not, don't do what I do. Just follow the professionals. They know what they're doing. I'm just a novice who loves to have fun with paint and painty papers. So that's what we're making today. So this one is going to be much more blue than what I planned, but that's okay. We will work with it. I don't think I have one quite this color, so. Ooh. This leaf is going to come out really nice, I think. Now, if you don't have access to live botanicals and you really want to try this process, I've actually done this with dried leaves that I've kept, or you can also do it with faux flowers and leaves. So keep that in mind. Okay. Ooh, that's really pretty. I love the leaf portion, and you can kind of see those flowers. Really neat. So once they all kind of, I have one more paper, so we'll do one more, and I'm going to see if I can get this purple and see how it'll react with the blue. I don't want to, okay. And then I'm just going to put down some of these because that's the color they were. Kind of use whatever we have still laying here. There's another one. There's another one. And we'll put the lady slipper on there. And we'll press this down. And then lift it up and take these guys off. And then smooth it down to get the actual botanical design. So yes, my desk is a mess, but it's been a really fun project and it's worth the cleanup to me. Okay, so this one came out a little bit interesting. You can see here at the top where we have those little blue flowers, and then down here at the bottom we have the lady slipper, and I think the reason why we got some of these other colors is they were on the plants. So that's something to take into consider, that your plants are going to get inky from your process. So if you don't let them dry in between, which who's going to do that, right? You're going to end up with some of the color transferring, which that's perfectly fine with me. So let me move some of this out of the way really quick. Clean this mess up a tiny bit. And move this out of the way. This is a cool gel print I made, and I haven't done anything else with it. I've just had it here on my clipboard, but I'll show you these. So I have quite a set now. Whoops, I didn't mean to show them to you like that. I have quite a set now, and I can do some other things with them, but I'll let you see I'll show you the ones that I have. So we have these. This was the rose, which now that it's dried, it looks really cool. Here's another one of those little bell flowers. Here's the one where we got a little bit too much ink. Here's another one. These are kind of cool. I'm not sure which way that one goes. That one's neat. Here's a lighter one. I think this is a lady slipper and maybe some violets. Peach. Another pink. I think those were lady slippers as well. Here are some more leaves, and I'm not sure what else went with that. This is like a purple and a I don't know if you can see it. It has some silver in it. Not a fan because it got the orange, but it's an okay transfer. This one is really pretty. Love that. This one was blank, and when I went back to get the botanical print, it was too dry and I couldn't pull it up, and that's what these are. This one I was able to, but it was a smaller plant, so it, came out a little bit more narrow. And then here's our navy blue one. So I have a really nice collection. And I think for someone who is trying this for the first time, that they came out pretty well. I mean, I have done them before, but with dried leaves. So if you try this, tag me. I'd love to see how your botanical prints come out. And I will also link Darcy's channel, because not only does she have a great video on the botanicals, but she does other cool gel print things as well. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.